So you think you're tough. It's not something you learn. It's in your blood, like the blood of a panther. 3 years ago, Swarm and I met while hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. We walked over 2,600 miles across America, through burning deserts, over snow-capped mountains, and straight into near disasters. We bonded through suffering, through laughter, through the shared madness of hiking for months on end. And by the end, we weren't just friends, we were brothers of the trail. Now we are reuniting for a new challenge. Shorter, but far more brutal. The Cape Wrath Trail. To be honest, the Cape Wrath Trail isn't really a trail. It's more of an idea. The idea that you could walk from Fort William to Cape Wrath across 230 miles of unmarked wilderness through Scotland's roughest, wettest, and wildest lands. Midgie Challenge.
One slip. Game over. No 10.
The Pacific Crest Trail tested our endurance. The Cape Wrath Trail would test our survival. This is our story, real, raw, and unfiltered. Welcome to Scotland's last great wilderness. Before starting the Cape Wrath Trail, we made the decision to summit Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the United Kingdom at 4,413 feet. That would be our warm-up, our first challenge. Instead, it nearly broke us. We climbed in a torrential rain, under a red weather warning. The rain was so heavy I could barely see a few feet in front of me. We did make it to the summit, but the storm only got worse. Our waterproofs were soaked through, temperatures dropped, we started shivering uncontrollably. Hypothermia was hitting fast. There was no time to rest. Instead of a careful descent, we ended up running down the slick cobblestone. Somewhere early in that mad dash, I twisted my knee. Ben Nevis had humbled us. Soaked, battered, and shaken, we knew something had to change. Instead of sleeping in, we spent the next morning scrambling for better rain gear and replacing the phone that had all our maps. A rough start, but only the beginning. So, what's your situation right now?
I'm tired.
Yeah, but
And it's the morning of day one. And my phone's already broke on the way here. I got water damage.
The Cape Wrath Trail begins with a ferry across Loch Linnhe. I knew once I stepped onto that boat, I was committing to it at least 5 days before seeing any sign of civilization again. No turning back. Maybe it was a jet lag, maybe it was a memory of Ben Nevis, but part of me wanted to tell Swarm I wasn't ready. Still, his confidence pushed me forward. After months of planning, we were finally heading into some of Britain's most remote lands.
Cha! Cha!
That first night, the rain finally eased. Low clouds hung over our camp by the River Kona. It felt peaceful. I told myself nothing could be worse than Nevis. I was wrong. It was only the calm before the storm. The next morning, I opened my tent and was greeted by thousands of blood-sucking midgies. Packing up felt like a battle. They swarmed the tent like moths to a flame. But once you started hiking, it wasn't so bad. Light work. I'm just going up these stairs. Yes, sir. The trail pulled us over a low mountain, then dropped us into straight trackless bog. Eventually, we reached the Glenfinnan Viaduct. Built in 1901, 21 sweeping arches stretching across the Highlands, now famous for the Hogwarts Express, but truly a monument to endurance long before Hollywood. Probably ate enough. But I'm definitely, let's chill here. Phone's charging. Oh, fuck. What just happened?
One slip. Game over. No tent.
That night we stayed in our first bothy, a simple hut in the Highlands, open to anyone that can reach it. We were exhausted. In the bog, every single step mattered. You could easily go knee deep in the mud with one wrong step. That night when I closed my eyes, all I could see was the mud squishing beneath my feet. The bog rocked me to sleep. My knee was still giving me trouble, and Swarm had his own injuries. The terrain hit hard. Some miles had an old road, some had cheap tracks, and some had nothing at all. We were following a faint recorded line on a phone screen. Every mile pushed us deeper into the Highlands. Cape Wrath felt impossibly far. I wasn't sure if my knee would hold up the entire way. But the only way out, aside from calling a helicopter, was forward, through the brutal rough bounds in Neudark. The route sent us over massive Munros, and there were moments I didn't know I had it in me. But step by step, we made it to the bothy in Glen Dessery. Just a simple stone hut, but after miles of bog, it felt like a luxury. Each bothy lifted our spirits. And despite everything, the rough bounds were breathtaking, unlike anywhere I've ever been. Every hard-run climb over a pass would reveal a new view, a green sea of 1,000-foot waves, dropping suddenly into hidden locks and ancient bays. By day 3, the rain still hadn't stopped. Barrisdale Bothy felt like a 5-star resort, a working toilet, sink, and electrical outlet. The Bothy did charge £5, I paid way more for way worse places. The valley was jaw-droppingly beautiful, but the hiker inside warned us that tomorrow would be a tough climb out.
Motorbike? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Eventually, we staggered into Bora on burned out legs and stubborn will. The shop was tiny, but 2 PCT hikers can resupply anywhere. The people running the shop were legends. The campsite felt like a luxury. Showers, flat ground, a moment to breathe. Swarm bought an expensive dehydrated hiker meal. It tasted like hot bin juice, and it didn't fill him up. This is why I only eat ramen bombs.
Slowly walking away.
In Morar, we met the only other person hiking the trail. Unfortunately, she was quitting after the difficulty of the first section. I wondered to myself, am I crazy for doing this? The rain guided us to Glommock Falls, one of the tallest waterfalls in Britain. The trail forces you to scale down the side of it. As we approached it, I felt uneasy. This section is notoriously dodgy, but turning back was not an option. In the end, the descent wasn't as terrifying as I imagined. Reaching Mole Buoy Bothy felt like a miracle, one of the most remote bothies in all of Scotland. A gamekeeper once lived here with his family, completely cut off. People in the Highlands left after the Industrial Revolution, but walking through some of these valleys, there were ancient stone ruins. I couldn't help wonder to myself if my own ancestors once lived here. Yeah, it says you cross the link easily. That one right there. When we reached Ullapool, we went straight for a pint, then a much-needed shower. Ullapool felt like a dream. It was a small port town with lively pubs right off the Pebble Beach. The sun was up for 17 hours a day, and the locals took full advantage out of it, staying out late. We ate as much food as we possibly could, including a pizza crunch, which was a first for me. We were halfway, but my knee, I wasn't sure if I would survive the second half.